All right, welcome back, everybody. We are live. Good morning. My name is Elias and I'm one of your organizers for the Global Entrepreneurship Week here in Las Vegas. And today I'm excited because we've got Mary Grace from the Social Register joining us. Mary, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you guys for having me.
Hey, it's totally our pleasure. So, in this show, we're essentially spotlighting entrepreneurs here in Las Vegas. We want to tell the story of Vegas. Really show the world who we are. Beyond the glitz and glamour, but some of the really amazing
Mhm.
work that's happening here, and how friendly of an entrepreneurial community we have here. But for the world that's new to you, would you please just introduce yourself and the work that you're doing?
Yeah, for sure. Yes, my name is Mary Grace, and I'm the owner and CEO of Social Register Network. And we're an organization and platform exclusively for business owners and entrepreneurs. Specifically, we're for heart centered business owners and entrepreneurs. So, people who love what they're doing, people are doing it to really make an impact in the community. And we provide the platform and the community so that these like minded business owners and entrepreneurs could come together but also get the resources that they need to really build, grow, and scale their business. Because as we all know, this entrepreneurial journey can be really lonely. And so our mission is to crush that statistic of 50% of businesses failing within the first 5 years. And we've been doing this for over 25 years, and it truly has made an impact in the business community.
That's amazing. So you said you've been doing this for over 25 years. That's
I've been
that's
in the
that's
business
pretty
for
incredible.
over 15, but Social
Mhm.
Register has been in Las Vegas. It's privately owned. I privately own it for over 25 years. I think we're hitting our 28th year.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah, y'all
Thank
need
you.
to definitely throw a really big party on that 30th year anniversary.
Right? That just sounds crazy to me.
Yeah. So I remember hearing about Social Register. It must have been 2 years ago, through Dave, just with the events that he's been doing. I feel like I've been to a Social Register event.
Mhm.
But can you tell us about your journey? How did you get into this company?
Yeah, I actually got into the company over, like I said, about 15 years ago. And I came in as, director of events and slowly within about 2 years became the COO. So I ran the operations of the organization and just really have brought the business to where it was before I purchased it. So I was the COO. I ran the operations here in Las Vegas. Then I ended up buying the company at the end of 2019, right before the pandemic. And when the pandemic
Ooh.
hit, yeah, when the pandemic hit, it was very interesting to say the least, because I was used to doing everything in person, like already being in the business. And so when I got into it, we brought everything online. And just in under 6 months, we were able to expand nationally because we brought everything virtually. We brought the community that we were hosting live in person events and now brought them virtual. And then, as soon as we were able to have our live events again, we opened up in Orange County, California. So now I do live events in Vegas and in Orange County. And then I also do have a subdivision for women, impact driven women business owners, and creating events for them. And our events are different. I think you may have experienced, you said 2 years ago, our events have like
Mhm.
totally shifted from the events that we were hosting even like a year ago.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. I think COVID was an excuse, but not well. Okay, I'm gonna take that back for a second. I'm gonna say that COVID, negatively impacted a lot of businesses, especially
Mhm.
in the hospitality space and the event space. And, as entrepreneurs and business owners, we really have to hold ourselves up to a high level of accountability. And COVID was one of those scenarios, once in 100 years scenario, right? So still
Mhm.
a lot of empathy for the people who suffered through that and essentially lost their business. Oh, we've got Megan. Megan is joining us. Hey,
Megan.
come on inside. All right. Yeah, to kind of finish this point up, we're here with Mary Grace from Social Register.
Hello.
Uh, Yeah. I was just asking, I was kind of leading to a point about COVID having negatively impacted a ton of businesses, and a lot of CEOs, unfortunately, were not able to be held accountable to it because it, just overwhelmed so many folks. But what I'm hearing from you is that you pivoted to virtual, and then you actually, when we were able to come back, use that as an opportunity to expand in Orange County. How did you come to that conclusion, or was it just obvious for you, or was there a struggle there?
Expanding to Orange County or going virtual? Which part?
More like the response to COVID.
The response to
The
COVID.
a lot of entrepreneurs laid down and rolled over. How, what kind of inspired you to pivot to virtual and then use the opportunity to expand?
So being in the business for so long, I have watched us, do things live and in person, but I've always been really tech savvy. I've always been that person who also valued my time. And so I can't be the
Mhm.
only one who values their time. And so I already knew that there was some kind of technological like way for us to connect virtually, but also expand outside of our lines. So COVID just I hate saying this because yes, like you just mentioned, there were a lot of businesses who were it negatively affected their business. But on my end, it positively affected my business, especially with me transitioning from COO to CEO. So it kind of allowed me to step back, have the time to kind of evaluate where we are, and then really implement my skills into the business. And that's where I come in with tech. And I was like, okay, well, we can create like Zoom rooms, we could create whatever is out there, we can find something and still continue bringing everyone together. I think also with my heavily like background in social media and marketing, I knew that online space was already building community. Like I was already doing it since I was like, what, 16 years old on MySpace and all the things, right? And so I was like living
Oh,
this
MySpace.
evolution. Yeah. So I was like, there's no way that like we don't have to meet in person. I think it's beautiful and I think it's another way to connect. But I think there's people who do enjoy connecting virtually. And also, I've met the greatest friends virtually. Like I think that a lot of people say that the energy is different, but I feel like it's the same. I think it's the type of energy you put in.
Yeah.
Because I've
Mm,
met amazing people virtually. Like some of them I call my best friends. So I think just really seeing and then the part of the challenge was me going from COO to CEO. I knew that all eyes were on me. Like I knew that people were like, okay, what's she going to do next? Like she just bought this business and I have over 2,500 members that are like, okay, what's she going to do next? The pandemic hit. And so I kind of had all that pressure on me, which allowed
mm,
me to be like, okay, what the heck am I going to do next? And my husband
mm,
and I were talking, we are actually on the way to like pick up dinner. And I was like, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to bring everyone online? And he also is like in the tech space. And we're like, okay, well, let's just create rooms. Let's create ways that they can connect and really build community and then leverage, Facebook and Instagram and all the things we were already using. So for me, it kind of was, again, I feel guilty saying it, but it was my skill. Like I allowed my skill to really shine in an area where I was being pressured to.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just you're such a great example of what went well during the pandemic and kind of the fallout afterwards. It was really kind of that who's going to maximize on this
Mhm.
because we can look at it as oh my gosh, this is terrible. And, then have that kind of like victim mindset. But then so many others that did thrive through it were very much like you, those entrepreneurs or those leaders in the space that were, okay, this is what's happening. What
Mhm.
can I still do? And what can I now do different? And I really feel like that was kind of an opportunity to
Mhm.
really kind of like reset things in a
Yeah.
way because I mean, kind of think about like 3 years ago, which it feels like a decade ago. I feel
Mhm.
like we've each year has been like 10 years almost,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Since COVID.
And so it's just that kind of like what we were doing before,
Yep.
we cannot do anymore.
Mm-mm.
And I think we're still in that space of the after effects of there's still kind of some trickle down of that where people are trying to like fight to still do things that in these old ways. And
Mhm.
just us as a society have really been shedding that. And I think a big part of that can also be spoken into, again, the virtual and
Mhm.
going remote,
Mhm.
and a lot of that stuff where there's a lot of companies, a lot of organizations having to really look at their infrastructures and decide, okay, are we going to continue to do it like we did before and still fight to have it this way? Or are we going to decide to just, let's scrap everything and
Yeah.
start brand new? And I don't know how much you want to share with how like your evolution was and maybe some different directions where you're going, but I know that you've kind of been in that too, of figuring out, who am I in this role? How do I
Mhm.
want to show up in it? And what does this now what does this brand look like with me in charge? So I would love
Yeah.
for you to speak into that however much you are ready to.
I would love to share, and I love it because this is the first place I'm going to share it, and it's with you. I mean, you and I had this conversation already, but yeah, I think 3 years ago, like you just said, and again, if I feel like I wanna say 10, right? I wanna say like 10 years ago, and
Yeah.
when Elias asked me, "How long have you been doing this?" I'm like, "I think it's 10, but I think it's 15." Like, I had to just say 10 to 15, I don't know.
All of them, all the years.
A
Right.
long time.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
3 years ago, and, prior to that, people were really, like, in the mix, and they still are, of networking and going to mixers and doing it that way, and really seeing that, they were trying to navigate their way through this community and really, get more visibility for their business, land sales, whatever it is for them, right? Whatever that goal was. And I think ever since the pandemic, as soon as the pandemic, obviously allowed us to come back, everybody was eager to come out and go to mixers and all the things, because we're known for having the more elite mixers, like being at the top of Mandalay Bay, being at the Resorts World, and also having about 150 to business owners coming to our events. We are known for that. And so when I
Mhm.
became the CEO, and as everything started opening up that first year, it was amazing. Like, it felt just like 3 years ago, right? But as that started slowing down into the second year of now being open, I noticed a shift. I noticed a shift
Mm,
where people were tired of wasting their time. People really wanted to create those meaningful and valuable relationships, but also see an ROI in this work that they're doing, right? And a lot of us, especially with my generation, is we all have families. Like, we all have families. We're now juggling business and family and, working from home and juggling the kids and all the things, that people were now looking at their time and where it was being spent. And so
mm,
as we go into 2024, I'm making some tremendous changes to Social Register Network. I think as I came in, a lot of people do compliment that, I brought a different level to the networking game and what we've been doing for the past 25 years. But I think I want to shift it even more, in a level where we are utilizing my skills and my team's skills to really provide that impact that's going to help them build their business. Like, literally boots on the ground. Let me help you create the marketing, create the social media, the video marketing, all those things, and help you move the needle in your business. And I think
mm,
we've tried different events. We've done like an Ignite Your Brand Summit where we had 80 people come to our event, where we had, different stations to implement video marketing and
mm.
podcasting. And that was so well received. And people still talk about it till today. And it impacted
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the speakers too. Like, these were speakers that were like, "Oh my God, thank you for asking me to speak. I haven't spoke before." But it's because I see the capabilities and I see the expertise that everyone holds, and I'm like, "We need to get you out there, even though if you're like, excuse my language,
Yeah,
you're
you're like,
shitting
"It's
bricks
your
right
turn,
now, you're
go."
gonna
You're like,
do it."
"Oh."
Yeah, I'm like, "You're shitting bricks, but you're gonna do it." Like, people need to know
Yeah,
what you
get
do and
out
how
there,
you can
do
help
it.
them. And at the end of
That's
it, they're
great.
like,
I
"Oh my
love
God,
putting
thank
people
you
on the
for."
spot too.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're like, "It's
And
your
at
turn
the
now."
end of it, they're like, "Thank you so much for making me do that." Making me do that.
Yes.
So I really want to
You're
hone in on
welcome.
that. My heart is there. That's where it is seeing them light up, seeing the transformation in the speaker, but also seeing the
Mm,
transformation of the people attending, and seeing that, oh wow, okay, it isn't that hard to really create video for social media. Because I think, you
mm,
know, people who haven't done it before, they see it as it's hard, right? Just like for me,
Yeah.
I used to think like working out was hard because I don't want to do it. But as you
Mhm.
do it, it's like, oh, okay, that's easy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, because it's just, even to that point, and I say you're just working a new muscle. Just like
Mhm.
you
Yes.
would go in the
Mhm.
gym and you're building up that strength, you're building up all of those different things. It's the same thing with anything else. And so whether it's going out and speaking, it's getting on social media, putting yourself out there,
Mhm.
anytime you're developing a new skill, the same thing applies. It's just you
Yeah.
just got to practice it. It's gonna be a mess and it's gonna be a disaster. I mean, shoot, how many different things have we run into with this live broadcast that we are just hopped in fully?
Mhm.
Yeah, probably 2 for every episode.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's at least one, and we're like,
Mm.
okay, cool. So we have no sound, and awesome. This is
But
great.
it's never going to be
But you
perfect.
gotta go.
Yeah. And
You
it's
gotta
never
go,
going
and
to
you
be
gotta do it
perfect.
messy, and
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
You
That's
know,
what I
I
say.
what'd you say,
It's never gonna be
Mary?
perfect, and like Megan
Oh,
said,
yeah,
is like,
yeah.
show up messy, and I think, I know that makes my husband cringe because he's type A, but he loves
Right.
he loves my personality that I just go for it, but also he's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
But he supports me 100%, which is awesome, but I'm just kinda like, "Okay, we have an idea, let's do it," and the whole team is like, "What?" I said, "We're gonna do it. We're gonna get the people in the doors," and that's what happened to
Yeah,
Ignite Your Brand.
I love that. Yeah, I love that type of event. Definitely really cool. Would love to be a part of something like that, or I just
For
think
sure.
I can see the magic
Mm,
that happens
Mhm.
when you give people the tools that they might not otherwise be used to having access to for video,
yeah,
podcasting, photography, etc., and let people craft their messages, do that all in one day. It's like a fun festival almost.
yeah.
But going back to the just showing up messy piece, I think some of the best entrepreneurs have core values that they stick to, right? And
Mhm.
of course, like we probably all share some core values like integrity and
Mhm.
honesty and hard work, consistency, and stuff like that. And then we have like the brandable core values or the marketing core values. And so for me, three that have been pretty consistent for me the past couple of years have been always be learning,
Mm,
which shorthand
Mhm.
is able. Keep moving forward, which is KMF from Meet the Robinsons. Keep moving forward, right? Phil, I don't know if you guys remember that. It's one of my favorite childhood movies. And then progress over perfection. And so
Mhm.
those combination of core values, guide me to showing up messy and
yeah.
just
Yeah.
executing and then learning as we go. What
Mhm.
about you, Mary? What core values do you have at Social Register that drive you?
They're similar to yours. So fail forward is another one, and that
Mhm.
goes with the showing up messy. Alignment is a huge one for me. So really feeling it in your bones. If this aligns with you, then go for it. Because ever since I've really tuned into that, then the aftermath is always beautiful, like literally amazing. Like none of us can have words to really explain it. So those are the two that really like drive me. And then of course, the third one is serving. Is how is this going to make an impact? How is this going to serve the community? How is this going to serve you? And on my team, I always ask them, how is this going to serve you too? Because you need to feel good doing this, and you don't want to feel like, oh God, another event, right? Like we all want to feel like it's serving us in some way. And what is that impact we're going to be making with anything we do?
Mm, mhm. Yeah, and I would say that I know for us, like that was one reason why we decided to hop into this because it's a volunteer role, you guys.
Mhm.
We don't get paid for
Mhm.
this. We truly do it because we see the big picture, we see the vision, we see what's possible. We took on Dave's belief of let's just throw it, like let's throw all the things we have that's within our own abilities and gather those from everyone else that we know and really utilizing our strengths and the networks that we have
Yeah.
collectively and seeing, okay, because there is so much possible. This city has so much to offer, not only our local community, but also again, that spotlight that we get
Mhm.
to shine in a different way. And
Mhm.
to Dave's point, he likes to say, we may not change the world, but we will change the way the world sees Las Vegas.
Yes.
And I mean, that
Mhm.
could not be put together any better because that is really the vision. And it's again, it's that impact, it's that ripple effect. And again, it's things that are so much bigger than just us. And
Mhm.
it's just knowing enough that we are some little piece of that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think, and I know that was, I'm sure we said something to that effect even when you and I first met, and it was virtually. It
Yes.
was like, hey, we follow each other and we're doing some stuff.
Mhm.
Why don't we do something together? I don't know what that's going to
Mhm.
look like yet, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And it didn't happen right away. I think that's where
No.
people need to understand that the relationships that you're making and anything you're doing, just like amongst you guys and Dave, like I love Dave. I'm like, where is Dave?
Yeah.
um, and
Juggling gigs, he's
Right.
got tomorrow's Saturday's Veterans Day, right? He's got a
oh,
military influencer conference
mhm,
right now, and so
military
plus
conference.
wedding gigs and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and so I think
He's our
he's
Waldo.
yeah, 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 yeah. But if
Where's
you stick
Dave?
around and you watch the live stream, we've got some Dave recorded playing on loop.
Yeah.
I
Um,
love it.
One thing that's really important about the work that we do here for Global Entrepreneurship Week and just Vegas in general is really spotlighting Vegas. I mean, Vegas has been really exploding in terms of growth,
Mhm.
but without like seeding this with further bias, what is what is your experience been like? For operating in the Vegas market. I mean, what do you have to say about the entrepreneurial scene here, especially compared to some other markets that you have experience in? Good or
Vegas is
bad?
yeah, and I have to be careful, right? But I'm very honest and I'm very transparent. I'm not here to hurt anyone's feelings, but it's the truth. I'm from Vegas, so I went to high school here. My husband and I are high school sweethearts. Our son was born here. All the things.
Oh,
So for me, it's been amazing to see the growth and evolution of Las Vegas, but also being a part of Social Register. I I have been able to witness firsthand just the way entrepreneurs here thrive and the way that they're
mm,
open to really supporting each other and finding ways to come together. How can we come together and create something just like what you guys are doing today, right? And how can really we give back? How can we bring the city up? How can we elevate the community? And so for me, I've just loved the collaborative spirit. You can't find that all the time in every city that you go in. I think
mm,
but it depends on the climate of the what they're going through in their city. And I feel like in Vegas we just come together no matter what. I mean, it was witnessed over and over again, right? Like through October 1st and all the things. But with
Mhm.
business, I think it's the collaborative spirit that I love, and also just being able to connect with people who are some people see them as influencers, some people see them as celebrities, whatever you call them. I think that we're able to really make those connections, and they want to give back to our community too. And I think all of us who are from Vegas and have watched the evolution of the city, we want to be able to spotlight. Yeah, Megan's from Vegas is from here. This is your home, even more so than mine.
yeah.
And I think that we deserve to be highlighted. I want to share that I actually was selected to be a part of a Women Who Boss Up Las Vegas book. And I said yes because, and I don't say yes to everything because I like to be very mindful of reputation and all the things. But I was selected and asked to be on the cover and then select four other women who should be highlighted in this community. And then I think a lot of you have seen like Monica Fullerton's on there, Marissa Hawkins, and Shane Jasmine Young. And these are women, this specifically is a female book, but for this, these are women who are actually giving back to the community. Like they're moving the
Mm,
needle. You see their boots on the ground. And I believe those are the people who should be highlighted. Just like Elias said, this is beyond the glitz and glamour of the strip. It's who are the people
mhm.
here moving the needle within the community, who are giving back to the community and helping us rise?
Mm, yeah. And so, even just to go further into that point, because you do with your organization, you kind of split your time here and in Orange County. And so, is there anything that's happening in that ecosystem that you would love to pull in over here, or at least maybe collectively we can figure
Yeah,
out
that's
like
great.
what are the resources that need to connect so that that can happen?
With the two cities, the main thing that I see, um, In Orange County, people there are they so here we kind of like have time, right? Like a lot of things are open all the time. Like after I leave an event in Orange County, my husband and I are struggling to find a restaurant that's open. So I think between the two that I can distinguish in the time that I've been in both, cities for a year now in Orange County, is people in Orange County are like really fast paced. Like, hey, I meet you today. They're like, I want to get a call with you tomorrow, type of thing. And I think in Vegas, we kind of take our time because we have time. It's not a negative. It's not to throw shade at us. We have time. Like I can meet with you, Megan, and see you in 20 minutes. Like it doesn't take me an hour to go see you, right? In Orange County and LA, it could take 45 minutes to maybe 2 hours to meet with someone. And so I think I would love to be able to bridge the gap. And this is why I do virtual events, is to be able to bring the cities together, because the reason why we chose to go into Orange County was because we had several members who already moved there. Like they moved there. They were like, hey, we need a social register there. It just made sense. And literally it's a 30 or 40-minute flight or a 4-hour drive. So I would love to bridge the gap between two. And I think we're doing that already, especially in the women's sector. We are doing that. Like it's full force going on. I would love to see Vegas in the same speed. Hey, I see you at an event and it's like, let's make it happen, versus like, okay. And I can actually admit that sometimes I'm like that, is because, I have time. I'll email her in 2 days. Let me just put that on my list. And in Orange County, I haven't experienced that with people. It's more of like, they meet me today and they're already like texting me literally an hour from when I met them. It's like, let's get it done. And I think, in Vegas, that would be beautiful if we can adopt the same kind of same kind of like cadence.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's just, again, it's like creating that sense of urgency of, I see synergy, I see alignment, I want to do work with you. Let's make it happen. And like, let's not put it on the back burner. Let's not, again, taking our time. And so I think to that point too is just another reason why Global Entrepreneurship Week is such an integral piece to that, because, a lot of the conversations we had yesterday, and I know we'll continue to have, today, tomorrow, and all of next week, is people are aware that, we're having these conversations, in silos, behind closed doors. And we know it's like, man, we would love to do this, but we don't know how to get it. We don't know how to do it. And so it's getting those conversations out into a general space, a general arena, getting everybody together to say, okay, great. And your group, what ideas do you have? What projects are you working on? Okay, awesome. What are you doing? What projects are you working on? And then that's when the light bulb moments happen. I mean, we've even had that happen in studio, as we've been doing these interviews, where it's like, oh, hey, actually, now that you say that, I know exactly who I need to connect you with. And, ooh, do you know about this? Have you heard about this person? And that can only happen in proximity. And so when you're in proximity with people, then it's just taking advantage of that. Being, and I know, I think it was Josh yesterday said that, entrepreneurs are opportunists. And I 100% agree. And always in that positive way of, because that's just how our minds work. We're constantly looking to see, we're connecting the dots, putting the puzzle pieces together. But sometimes that can only happen when we are in proximity, when we are in a shared space. But yes, to your point, and I know I've experienced this, and I've been that person too, where I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'll get to it. But because I think it's this mentality of, well, the opportunity will always be there. And that's not necessarily the case. And I think that is something that we are maybe noticing. I think that's kind of what has been the barrier in Las Vegas, and maybe why some things have not moved forward, is because it's like, oh yeah, remember you had that meeting, or you met this person at an event, or you saw this speaker, but then you did nothing with it. As opposed to you go to California and they're like, cool, awesome. Yes, let's have a meeting. Let's get on a call. Let's get these things going. Boom, 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 done.
But to add to that too, I think the most amazing thing about Vegas that I can see clearly right now is we have amazing resources. We have different groups. We have different organizations in Orange County. I've only been in that area just for now. There's not as many. They do have chambers, and I think that's
Mm,
why I've been successful to go into that city is because they're like, oh my God, what is this? Like in the beginning,
mm,
it was kind of hard because they've been burned so
Mhm.
many times and they're like, what is this? Right. But as soon as they
mm,
come in and experience it, and the more people are talking about it, they're like, oh, you help us. Like you're helping us. You're not like wanting to take something from us. So the beautiful thing about Vegas is we have so many people wanting to help, and we have resources. A lot of them are complimentary. A lot of them are, a low fee. But we have those organizations and those groups, and that's what I would love to see in Orange County. And then obviously that's why I brought Social Register there, but I would love to see more of that. And I think to me that brings more of a collaborative spirit amongst the groups, because that isn't what I always experience in Orange County. I do
mm,
experience it, but not as prevalent in Vegas, where the groups are coming together and
mm,
really, how can we come together and do something together? When I
mm.
speak of people reaching out immediately, it's individuals because they're really wanting support. They're really wanting someone they can talk to. So, of course, they're going to reach out to you in the next hour and make things happen and hop on a Zoom call if they can.
Yeah, love it. Where are we at on time?
We got like 10 minutes.
Sweet. Okay.
Um,
So I would say just as kind of like a wrap for this, kind of put like a nice little bow. What would be one piece of advice that because you've seen the themes, you work with so many entrepreneurs, you work with so many leaders in so many different sectors and areas. And so
Mhm.
what would be like your best piece of advice for somebody that's either starting out or they're at this like maybe fork in the road where they got to make a decision?
You have to find your community. And I'm not just saying that
Mm.
because I own Social Register. It has truly been how I'm sitting, but standing here today, is having people around me, because there are days where you don't know what you're doing. There are days when you want to burn the whole thing down. But when you have community and you're able to really trust people and feel safe in that environment and share how you're feeling without judgment, it it allows people to be vulnerable with you. And so they can share with you what they've gone through that's maybe similar. And so having like you just said, close proximity, having community, having a circle and a tribe that you can lean on. That is so important. We're humans. We are made to be around people and made to like have that human to human connection. And if you don't have that, I believe that is why businesses fail in the first 5 years. 50% of them
Mm,
fail is because they're trying to do it alone, or they
mm.
think that they are alone when there's so many different organizations that are there to help you.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And so, how can people get in touch with you? What is something you're currently doing, currently working on that you would love to get just more people involved and just share that with our audience?
So you can find me on social media. It's just my name. I know my last name's a bit tricky, but it's Mary Grace Yniguez, and it's there on the screen. And then Social Register Network is also on all the platforms as well. And then we have city specific like Instagram accounts. So like SRN Las Vegas, SRN Orange County. We're on all the platforms. You can find us very easily. And currently, we're working on our Give Back networking mixer in December, and we
Mm,
sponsor Marine Toys for Tots. And so I would love to
Oh,
get all the entire community involved. I'm like down to collaborate with anyone that wants to help us get as much toys as we can to Marine Toys for Tots. I do it in Vegas and I do it in Orange County, and the Marines come to my events. They send about 4 of them and they collect the toys and then they distribute it within our city. So the toys we collect go to
mm.
the children here in Las Vegas. So that's going to be in December. If you want to know how you can get involved, just reach out to me on social media on Instagram. I'm on there. And then also, if you're in Orange County, it's the same process as well. We do it in both cities.
Nice. Well, thank you again, Mary Grace, for joining us and for taking your time to share just your expertise, your advice, and yeah.
Yeah, it was a real pleasure speaking with you, Mary. We will would love to see you at some of our upcoming Global Entrepreneurship Network events, of course. And yeah, after this video, we'll send you some like snippets and whatnot so we can, spotlight you even further on social media.
Thank you. And thank you guys for having me. And Elias, I would love to meet you. I think we're connected on Instagram, but we haven't connected
Maybe.
one-on-one as you walk
Well,
away. I'm like, I
no,
want to connect
shameless
with you.
plug. We have the hackathon stuff tonight. That's super late, but
Yeah.
that's an option. And then
Yeah, Mary Grace doesn't
more
go to
shameless
those things.
plugs. We have events all next week, every day of next week. So hopefully we can cross paths on one of those.
Yeah.
Awesome. And thank you, Megan. Thank you guys again for having me. This was fun.
Yeah.
And
Thank
keep
you.
killing it.
Bye, girl.
I just want to thank everybody for raising their hand and participating in Global Entrepreneurship Week.